We will now begin the City of Boynton Beach City Commission meeting today, Tuesday, February 19th, 2019. Would everyone please rise for an invocation? I'm doing one by John Saxon. Please bow your heads. Holy One, known by many names and beyond all names, Spirit of love, Spirit of life, Spirit of community, Spirit of justice. We ask your blessings on the people who have been called to lead the community in which we live and work and play. Help them as leaders to not ask first, how do we fix this, but what do we need to learn? How might we need to change, and to whom do we need to listen? Remind them, because we all forget from time to time, especially in the noisiness of what passes for political debate today. And they are not only leaders, but also servants, and that it is their responsibility and ours to serve the common good of all. Remind them that no matter where we live, everyone, gay, straight, transgender, black or white, Hispanic or Asian, Muslim, Jew, Hindu, Sikh or atheist, is our neighbor, our sibling, and that throughout the ages, prophets have called the leaders of the people to respect and protect the least among us, our children, the elderly, the poor, those who are hungry, those who have no homes, those who are ill in body, mind, or spirit, the strangers and immigrants in our midst, those who live on the margins, those who are alone, those who are forgotten. Grant them and us the wisdom and courage to know and to do what is right and good and true. May they and we speak out when it is time to speak and listen, patiently and respectfully when it is time to listen. May they and we always be guided by the spirit of community, by the spirit of justice, and by the spirit of love. This we pray in the name of all that we hold sacred and holy, all that we hold good and right and true. May it be so. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Grant.
Here.
Vice Mayor Ramos.
Present.
Commissioner Katz.
Here.
Commissioner McCray.
Here.
Commissioner Kelly.
Here.
All present, Mayor.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda?
I need to ask a question first. We did not update one because every time I go out there, y'all come up, but we got a new one. Okay, but this had not been updated, right?
Correct.
Thank you. Motion to approve.
Mayor,
Yes.
item 11A, the request of Vice Mayor, I think do you want to table that item? Commissioner or Vice Mayor till March 19? Correct. Okay.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Agenda is approved unanimously. Informational items by members of the City Commission. Commissioner Katz, would you like to begin?
Nothing to disclose.
Commissioner McCray?
Nothing to disclose. I like that.
Vice Mayor Romulus?
Good evening, everyone. I also have nothing to disclose.
Commissioner Kelly?
I have nothing to disclose.
All right. So on February 6th and 7th, I attended the Racial Equity Institute held by Healthier Boynton Beach and Healthier Lake Worth. It was very insightful and educating, and I encourage all of our elected officials to have that opportunity, including our city staff if the city manager is willing to let them go, be off work for 2 whole days. It's really opened my eyes on the question of equality versus equity and what we can do as a city to make sure that everyone feels equitable in the city. On the 8th, I attended a quarterly orientation. I was at the Boynton Beach Oceanfront Park for Florida Arbor Day, where we secured a position for the 35th year in a row as a Tree City USA by the Arbor Day Foundation. In addition, that evening I attended the Magic Wheels and Special Deals over at our barrier-free park. On the 9th, I attended the barrier-free run. I did it in a little over 30 minutes. And that afternoon, I was at Orange Theory, where our firefighters were supposed to take on the Delray Beach Police, but they backed out because they knew they were going to lose. And it was
back out of Boynton back out.
Delray backed out.
Oh, okay. That sounded better.
So I was in the Boynton Beach Orange Theory, and they ended up having a contest with the local Orange Theory Superstars. And I believe they raised thousands of dollars for the local charity. That afternoon, I also was in Rock the Plaza over at Ocean Palm Plaza. I think it was a great event, very well attended. On the 10th, I attended Boynton Cares park cleanup over at the Intracoastal Park Clubhouse. I was at Point Siena to help spread mulch, and then attended International Mother Language Day. On the 11th, I attended a meeting with Healthier Boynton Beach. On the 12th, I went to visit our Boynton Beach High School's tennis team play Santa Lucis. The 13th, I went and met with the Veterans Council, was at the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating Board. I went to Co-work Boynton, where they had a special program with the Side Project Incorporated to give free help to nonprofits regarding their bylaws. And that evening, I was at Joe DiMaggio's new hospital over in Wellington. It's a children's hospital, and it was amazing to see, and I'm glad we have one in Palm Beach County. On the 14th, before I celebrated Valentine's Day, I went to a new bar called Game of Axes. It was a lot of fun, and that was another contest between myself and Delray Beach Commissioner Bill Bathurst, and I was able to cut the ribbon before he was. On the 16th, I was over at Robinson's Barbecue for my own Rock the Plaza, and that evening did Dancing with the Stars for Delta Sigma Theta sorority. And in the evening, I was at the Boynton Beach Art District to proclaim the Boynton Beach Arts and Humanities Leadership Day. On the 17th, I was at Fire Station 3 for the pancake breakfast, and I want to thank again the firefighters and the chief for allowing that to happen. I think it was a great community event, and hopefully we can have more pancake breakfasts. And that evening, I was at the Wildcats Award Ceremony, where our Super Pee Wee team repeated as Super Bowl champions and got into the national finals, which was very great to see and hear. And then this morning, I attended the Transportation Planning Agency Steering Committee. And that is all my informational items.
Mayor, thank you. Before you move on, I need to ask City Manager, this meeting, special meeting for HUD, February the 17th. 27th, thank you. Let me start. February the 27th, 2019, 4 to 6. Is that still on?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I just don't want to take off and don't have nothing to do. Thank you. Okay.
All right. All right. Seeing none, moving on to announcements. The general election proclamation, March 12, 2019. I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim that a general election will be held in the City of Boynton Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, on the 12th day of March 2019 to elect the Mayor at Large, one Commissioner for Districts 1 and 3 to serve a 3-year term expiring in March of 2022, and a special election for District 4 to serve a 1-year term expiring in March 2020. The voting hours are between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. on said date. Polling places are hereby designated as follows: Precinct 3136, Freedom Shores Elementary School; 3138, Citrus Cove Elementary School; 3140, Boynton Lakes North Clubhouse; 3142, Boynton Lakes North Clubhouse; 3146, Discovery Village at Boynton Beach; 3164, Citrus Cove Elementary School; 3168, Boynton Beach Fire Station Number 3; 3172, Boynton Beach High School; 3174, Boynton Beach Fire Station Number 3; 3176, Boynton Beach High School; 3182, Imagine Schools Chancellor Campus; 3186, Christ Fellowship Church; 3187, 3188, Christ Fellowship Church; 3190, Imagine Schools Chancellor Campus; 3192, Palm Beach Leisureville Number 1 Clubhouse; 3194, Boynton Beach Fire Station Number 2; 3196, Palm Beach Leisureville Clubhouse Number 3; 3198, Boynton Beach Leisureville Clubhouse; 3200 and 3202, Gulfview Harbor Clubhouse; 4020, Christ Fellowship Church; 4022 Congress Middle School, 4024 Harvey E. Oyer Jr. Park, 4026 Sterling Village Auditorium, 4034 Cross Point Elementary School, 4036 Colonial Clubhouse, 4050 Hunters Run Courtside Cafe, 4052 4053 Cross Point Elementary School, 4054 Lakeview Baptist Church, 4062 Colonial Club Clubhouse, 4066 Seacrest Presbyterian Church, 4068 and 4070 Seacrest Presbyterian Church, 7178 Temple Beth Kodesh, 7179 Village Royale on the Green, 7180 7184 St. John Missionary Baptist Church, 7182 Carolyn Sims Center, 7186 Boynton Beach Senior Center, 7188 Forest Park Elementary School, 7190 Seacrest Presbyterian Church. And a list of all of the precincts and voting locations are at the front door. Next, we will proclaim the week of February 25th, 2019 as Eating Disorders Awareness Week. Sharon M. Glynn, LPN, the Director of Operations from the Alliance for Eating Disorders Awareness, will be accepting the proclamation. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas eating disorders affect 30 million individuals in the United States during their lifetimes, with more than 600,000 individuals in the state of Florida alone. And whereas eating disorders, including the specific disorders of anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, binge eating disorder, avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, and other specified feeding or eating disorders, are complex biologically based illnesses. And whereas eating disorders are associated with serious physical health consequences, including irregular heartbeats, heart disease and heart failure, kidney failure, osteoporosis, gastric rupture, tooth decay, obesity, gallbladder disease, diabetes, and death. And whereas at least once every 62 minutes someone dies due to their struggle with an eating disorder. And anorexia nervosa has the highest mortality rate of any mental illness. And eating disorders know no boundaries with respect to genders, age, races, ethnicities, body shapes and weights, sexual orientations, and socioeconomic status. And whereas eating disorders have a high prevalence amongst active military service members and veterans. And whereas with early detection and intervention, full recovery from an eating disorder is possible. And now therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of February 25th to March 3rd of 2019 as Eating Disorders Awareness Week. Our next proclamation for the week of February 25th, 2019 is Say Something Week. Ms. Teresa Trumbull Thomas from South Tech Academy will be present to accept the proclamation. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas when it comes to violence, suicide, and threats, most are known by at least one other individual before the incident occurs. 80% of school shooters told someone of their violent plans prior to the event. 7 out of 10 people who complete suicide told someone of their plans or gave some type of warning or indication. And whereas Say Something teaches students in middle and high school how to look for warning signs, signals, and threats, especially in social media, from individuals who may want to hurt themselves or others, and to say something to a trusted adult to get them help. Whereas Say Something will benefit young people, educators, administrators, community-based organizations, parents, and caretakers by building a culture of looking out for one another. By reporting possible threats of violence when someone sees, reads, or hears something, entire communities will become safer and lives will be saved. And whereas Sandy Hook Promise, a national nonprofit organization led by family members whose loved ones were killed in the tragic mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School on December 14, 2012, supports sensible solutions that protect children and prevent gun violence by bringing individuals and communities together to look out for and care for one another. And whereas Sandy Hook Promise's Say Something program is being celebrated as part of National Say Something Week, February 25th to March 1st, 2019, at South Tech Academy in Boynton Beach, Florida. And whereas through Say Something, young people will see a positive change for everyone and save lives by looking out for one another. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of February 25th of 2019 as Say Something Week. Now we have a citation recognizes Mrs. Ivana Odom's accomplishment. City of Boynton Beach citation. In September of 1961, Ivana Odom, a 16-year-old black sophomore, stepped into her new school, Seacrest High School, alone and calm. As she began the walk to her classroom, a white stranger reached out, took her hand, and accompanied her to class. Yvonne was slated to attend Carver High School and serve as captain of the girls' basketball team and on Carver's homecoming court. However, she had decided to attend Seacrest High School and work toward a more important mission, integration. By 1961, public schools were trying to meet the demands of a 1954 Supreme Court decision that said separate but equal schools were inherently unequal. Palm Beach County desegregations began with a lawsuit filed in 1956 by West Palm Beach attorney Bill Holland, who objected to school officials' refusal to allow his black son to attend a West Palm Beach elementary school. A committee which included Holland and Odom's father, the Reverend Randolph Lee, recruited black students to attend white schools in Jupiter and Lake Worth and at Palm Beach Junior College. Reverend Lee's daughters walk into Seacrest High School that historic day paved the way for future African students. During the month of February, Black History Month, we honor Ivana Odom as a pioneer in the desegregation of schools in Palm Beach County. Not only did she exhibit strength and character in high school, she went on to obtain a degree at Palm Beach Community College and was a longtime educator at Carver Middle School. Ivana Odom is a living testament to history and even today remains hard at work in our community. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, by the virtue of authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Boynton Beach, Florida, recognize with this citation Ivana Odom.
Thank you so much, my good friend, Commissioner McCray. We grew up together. But even though I was there my first year all by myself, I would like to recognize the 5 of us who graduated. 4 of us are still alive, and they're all Boynton Beach residents. That's Shirley Waters, Elma Bagley, Jeanette Sands, Nordine Coleman, and myself. There were 5 girls who actually graduated in the class of 1964 of maybe about 450 students. So I just like to, even though I get a lot of recognition, they too, help pave the way. And I really appreciate this, and thank you so much.
Just before Ms. Odom sat down, that was a news presentation that came out on Channel 12. and I don't think she saw it, but anyway, I was half asleep, and I seen her on TV, and I said, and I heard what they said, and the commentator at the end, she said, you know what, a predominantly strong black woman. And I felt so great. I said straight up in the bed, I said, wow. And I'm glad, Yvonne, you know, that you got your citation. You paved the way that for me to go to Seacrest High School. I graduated in '67, and I just want to say, you know, thanks for being my friend, and don't tell my age, okay? Thank you. All right, we won't.
I have Lisa now. Would you like to say a few words at the podium?
I apologize. I went to City Hall instead of here, so I'm sorry. Thank you so much for recognizing Eating Disorders Awareness Week and the Alliance for Eating Disorders Awareness. As you all heard in the proclamation, eating disorders are the deadliest mental illness. They're also the most expensive and one of the ones that people least frequently seek treatment for. So we really appreciate you taking the time to recognize this illness that affects 1 in 10 Americans. Thank you so much.
Is there any further announcements? Seeing none, moving on to public audience. Individual speakers will be limited to 3-minute presentations. Please state your name and address for the record before you begin.
Hi, good evening. My name is Dr. Stephanie Hayden. I reside at 2181 Southwest 15th Avenue, condo N102. My statement that I want to make is that I qualify to run as a candidate, mayor at large, and I am excited to be the next mayor of Boynton Beach. The election is March 12, 2019, and we need to get out and vote on that day. Thank you. Have a great day.
Good evening. My name is Tony Miller. I'm a resident of Delray, but currently work as the outreach coordinator for the Community Caring Center of Boynton Beach. Recently changed our name to the Community Caring Center of Palm Beach County Incorporated. I'm here to get you excited about an event that we're having here at this beautiful park in 3 weeks. Saturday, March the 9th. It's called the 2019 Boynton Family Fitness Day. It's a day of fun. Starting with the kids, face painting, DJ, playground, potato sack race, maybe an egg spoon race, something to get them active and out. In addition, there's a hunger walk that some of you have known about for a couple years now. That's going to be held at Veterans Park. But here on the grounds here, there's going to be a CrossFit competition. Everyone can enter from intermediate to advanced. Dancing, music. There's going to be yoga, silver sneakers course or classes provided, Zumba. Come out and get moving. So it's going to be a great event. In addition, we're going to have a wellness section. That's going to include mental health, physical health. Diabetes Coalition of Palm Beach County will be present, handing out great information regarding nutrition, diet, and activity. So I encourage everybody to come out. For more information, go to our website, Community Caring Center of Greater Boynton Beach, or I have flyers back here on the table for everyone. I do have a copy for all the city officials here.
Thank you.
Right,
Come out and have some fun. Thank you.
Right, Tony, excuse me, before you sit down, I just want to say that I was at the event that you all had over at the First Presbyterian Church, where I got a chance to speak, you know, and I remember your face looked familiar.
Oh, this past Friday?
Yep, and I just want to say, you know, thank you all for, you know, recognizing, you know, the elderly in this community, because it was a job well done. They had so much fun, although I had to leave early, but you all should be commended. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And that was an amazing story about Miss Odom and her history here. If you see videos of me dancing, they were teaching us the African dance, please don't laugh.
All right.
I look like a bird.
All right.
Thank you.
Mike Fitzpatrick, 175 Southwest 2nd Street. On Valentine's Day, the front portion of the 1/3 of the Kids Kingdom Castle is moved to Forest Hills Park, and it all went well. I'd like to thank the people who made this possible. First, there was Damon's Concrete cutting. Now that it's all over, maybe I'll post some very interesting pictures on how that was done, pre-OSHA visit. And E2L, Mark Heffern, Eric, and Chris Ware were very helpful. And
I don't think that's your time. Please continue.
That was my time.
That was not your time.
And Haskell Demolition, Scott Coville was very helpful too. I think he kind of liked helping save something than tearing it up into little pebbles. So that was a new experience for him. On the city staff, Colin Groff and Andrew Mack worked very hard to make this happen and were very helpful. Some of the other staff that were supported, I didn't get all their names. Under Andrew, I think it was Eric on the backhoe, and Dwight helped with laying out the digging. And also, I forgot Sims Crane. The guy, whoever was running the crane, was a 110-ton crane, could literally move 15 tons a fraction of an inch. I mean, like an eighth of an inch. He was an outstanding operator. So I'd just like to thank everybody that made this possible. Thank you. Oh, one more. It wouldn't have happened without the city manager, Lori.
Last but not least, right? First of all, I believe it's happy birthday to Commissioner Katz.
Yes.
Yes, some thank you letters are coming down your direction. There's one for Commissioner Katz, Vice Mayor Ramos, and Mayor Grant. Thank you. This is going to be a long-winded speech that's going to take a couple different meetings to get through, so I just figured it's time. It needs to get on the records. Susan Oyer, 140 Southeast 27th Way. We hear a lot about other families, one specifically in this city, but I think we tend to forget who the actual original pioneers were in this area, so I thought I would share my family's history so you all are a little more aware. My great-great-grandparents were Hannibal Dillingham Pierce and Margaretta Moore Pierce. H.D. Pierce's forebears moved to Maine. He went to sea at the age of 16. He went by clipper ship around Cape Horn and on to Australia and New Guinea. And this would have been in the early to mid 1800s, in a time when people just didn't do that. He was later on he was sailing a ship in the Bering Sea and went to the Great Lakes, where his ship eventually ran aground near Waukegan, not far from Chicago. He moved in with a local family in the area named Moore and fell in love with and married their daughter Margaretta. Margaretta had a brother named Will Moore who had consumption, aka TB, which was a very common illness at the time. His doctor had advised him to leave the harsh Midwestern climate and move to somewhere warmer. He, of course, came to Florida, ended up in North Florida, eventually moved down to Fort Pierce. He then moved back to Chicago. By 1871, the Great Fire had gone through Chicago and destroyed nearly everything in the city. One of the few things that remain, and the folklore in the family is it's actually the only ship that remained in the water, was the H.D. Pierce's ship, or boat, I should say. Margaretta, Will, and Margaretta and H.D.'s son Charlie boarded the boat and headed south, and eventually would end up down here in South Florida. H.D. had heard that there was a job for an assistant lighthouse keeper, and it was available in Jupiter. He sent word to Captain Armour, the keeper of the lighthouse, and he was offered the job. And Captain Armour was the temporary employee for the lighthouse system, and my family would eventually take over, and I'm going to stop here so I don't run over time, because we can go into part 2 next week, and this will probably be part 1 of 4 or 5. So yay, something to look forward to every week. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevin Homer. I live at 2505 Lake Drive North here in Boynton Beach. Like many others up and down our coast, my neighborhood had a city drainage issue potentially due to climate change and rising tides. I want to thank Angela Primus as well as our city manager for addressing it much sooner than I anticipated. It meant a lot to me and our neighbors. Thank you, Colin, and thank you, Lori. The 5K walk at Barrier Free Park was amazing. It was so nice to witness our community coming together to support those of us facing lifelong challenges. I'd like the record to reflect that while Lori beat me by 2 seconds, it was purely a political move on my part. And Glenn's not here, the fire chief, but he was like a football. We left him. Like he was way back there. So so moving on to Boynton Cares, thank you everyone for coming out to support our 12th monthly February Boynton Cares cleanup. Thank you, Troy's Barbecue, Tijuana Flats, Driftwood, and Hurricane Alley for your generosity. Thank you, Christina. We really appreciate your presence there, as well as the mayor. With all of our cleanups and adopted parks happening and the amount of time spent on my end, I thought maybe we could move this to a quarterly event. And I shared this with Stephen and pulled him aside. He said, "No, Kevin, that's not possible." I said, "Well, what do you mean it's not possible?" He said, "Well, it's in our calendar." I said, "Well, can't you change the calendar?" He's like, "No." So we left that conversation there, and then like 5 minutes later, one of the volunteers said, "You know, Kevin, if you need," and he had no idea of our conversation, and he said, "You know, if you need help with this, I'd be glad to help." And his name is Sean McKillop, and so he's going to alternate with me when I need the help. I share this story because last night there was this Meet the Candidates panel, aka one of the best reality shows ever. One of the opponents criticized our mayor for the failure to get the community involved. Well, he got me involved and appointed me to a board. But you know, look, it's up to the community to get engaged, and I encourage the community to do their part, just as our commission and our mayor have done theirs. But the best part of last night's meeting of this reality show stemmed from an educator running for mayor with a doctor in front of her name, and she criticized the mayor as it pertains to irresponsibly handling our grants for local businesses, specifically a clothing company called Rich Men Looks. She claimed that they shut down after 3 weeks of being open. That claim had no more truth than another opponent claiming that he invented the World Wide Web. Not only is Rich Men Looks open, but Franz, the owner, graciously sponsored our next cleanup. He's going to be sponsoring our next cleanup March 3rd here at Intracoastal Park. They are open, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Herb Sauce, 1711 Wood Farm, Boynton Beach. I'd like to announce that there's good news on the Alzheimer's front. As you know, I volunteered about 2 years ago for a drug called Ban 2401. Well, that drug has eliminated 83% of the protein on my brain. I am now entering the second phase for the same medicine in an increased dosage. It's a big risk, but I'm willing to do it, and I'm doing it. I've had 2 infusions, and it's a 2-year study, and we'll see what happens. Thank you. It should be on the market, if this works out, in about 3 years, maybe 3.5, but it looks good. The other thing I want to say, the biggest challenge that we have today is climate change. And there are many people that are complicit in our Congress, and the people know who they are. And hopefully in 2020, they'll be voted out, and I think they will. The other thing is the walls are closing in on the president. No ifs, ands, and buts. The latest bit with Khashoggi that got killed, a news reporter, Trump is in bed with the Saudis. Right now, there's evidence that he is completing secretly a nuclear pass-on of nuclear fusion material to Saudi Arabia. And so that's among many other things that he's done. It's a fib a day. It's a fib a day. Not only that, with this national emergency, that's ridiculous. I said many times that he's playing Hitler's playbook. I came up during the 30s, and that's exactly what's happened. Right now, we're in a fascist state. No ifs, no buts about it. This is what's happening. And to make a long story short, he has veterans. I just resigned from the hospital up at where I volunteered for 5 years up in Riviera Beach. And he doesn't give a damn about the veterans. He talks a good ball game. And if he gets his way with this emergency stuff, that's a dictatorship. And the wall is closing in. They're going to get him. Thank you.
Excuse me, you had your opportunity to speak.
Excuse me?
You had your opportunity to speak. Everybody gets one opportunity
Just one opportunity.
for public comments.
Yes.
All right. I just come back the next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no more public comments, we are closing public audience, moving into administrative. We do not have anyone applying for any of our 5 advisory boards. We have availability on our Building Board of Adjustments and Appeals, Education and Youth Advisory Board, Historic Resource Preservation Board, Library Board, Senior Advisory Board. Moving on to consent agenda. Would someone like to remove an item from consent agenda?
I'd like to move F.
All right. Any other items? Item F, accept the written report to the Commission for purchases over $10,000 for the month of January 2019.
Thank you. And Commissioner Cass, I promise I'm going to be brief. You will get a chance to come and celebrate your birthday. Okay, number 3, Benefit Fire Products Company, $13,746 for purchase new gear for the new firefighters. How many firefighters have we hired? Anybody know?
Tim Howard, Assistant City Manager. The last round was 11.
11? Okay. And how many vacancies do we have?
We think 1. We're not for sure. We can get that information and get it to you.
You can get it back to me.
Yep.
I'm just saying, but, when I see it like that, I'm just saying, making sure that, we're hiring people, and I'm just saying, at least the city is on the move. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you. I need to go to number 5, Public Works, okay, complete field review, evaluate the existing curb ramps for all the intersections. And I'm just saying that was $45,000. And I'm just saying, was that done citywide?
Andrew Mack, Director of Public Works. Yes, that's a citywide update to our ADA transition plan.
The next question, are we using the 1-cent sale tax with this?
No.
We can't use it?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, the next one is number 9, $24,810.37 for replace 2 boat engines on Police Unit 8300. My question for that is, I'm just saying, what happened to the ones we replaced?
So those are traded in, and the value of that is actually credited against to purchase the 2 new ones.
All right, how much did we get for the trade-in?
I want to say it was $10,000 a piece, roughly, from what I remember.
So the 2 would have cost like $44,000?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I should have known. I'm just saying, thank you. Number 10, Andrew, you can still stay up there while you're up there, but I just want to say thank you for resurfacing the basketball court out at Easy Hester. My pet peeve is that, we have facilities that we don't take care of, and, every time I see that we are taking care of our facilities, I like to just give you all kudos and say thank you. That's my pet peeve, and thank you. Mayor, that's the only questions I have on that, and with all being said, I'd like to offer a motion that all of the consent agenda be accepted.
I'd like to pull item B before we do that, please.
Okay, so we're going to just do item F because that has been pulled. If I can get a motion
All right,
for that.
motion to accept item F.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Item F is passed. Moving on to item B.
I'd just like staff to give us a report of the meeting and how that went. I believe that there was a pretty good turnout of residents there.
So it was proposed resolution number 19-017, authorize the city manager to submit an application for financial assistance pursuant to the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency Transportation Alternatives Program for funding for the addition of sidewalk along Southeast First Street, agreeing to fund the local share of the project and ongoing maintenance and operations expenses associated with the project and providing for an effective date.
Good evening, Andrew Mack, Director of Public Works and Engineering. The meeting was a big success. We had 37 residents come out and businesses. We received 12 comment cards regarding the project, and the purpose of the meeting was to disclose the project to the public, to get input and feedback on the features of the project, and with those features we're going to go back and design, and then we'll have another public input meeting. Some of the comments were they were in support of the new sidewalk that's being proposed as far as the safety, to increase safety in that corridor. Also, some of the businesses had some concerns about parking along the avenue to retain some of that parking and do some drainage improvements to the intersection down on the south end near Woolbright. So it was a well-received meeting, and we think there's a lot of good support for the project.
Okay, and you said there will be another public input meeting as well to keep
Yeah,
getting
as we get further along in the design, we'll come back and have another public charrette with the public to go over what we propose the improvements to be.
Great,
To
thank you.
get,
We are using the 1 cent sale tax for this project as well?
yes.
Thank you. Motion to approve proposed resolution B.
Seeing no more further comments, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Motion to propose the remainder of consent agenda now.
I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none, consent agenda is approved unanimously. Bids and purchases over $100,000. Approved task force with Global Tech Inc. in the sum of $197,015 in accordance with RFQ for general consulting services contract scope Category A awarded by Commission on September 7, 2018 for wastewater treatment plant scale inhibitor and acid reduction pre-treatment study. May I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a discussion from the board? Seeing none?
And I have questions. Somebody tell us in layman terms, what are we paying for?
I'll tell you what, I'll just do it real quick. The wastewater treatment plant treats water. Right now it uses membrane, so it sucks water through this fabric to pull all the bad stuff out. We use a lot of chemicals in that, so we're trying to lower the amount of chemicals we use, and we have to replace the membrane. So this project will help us figure out how to lower the chemical use that we're using to treat the water and replace the membranes with the right kind of membranes that won't scale up and fail quickly.
And this is an acid reduction pre-treatment study.
That's the chemical.
How long will that study take place for this amount of money?
It's about a 6-month study. There's some pilot work to do. It's to eliminate the acid, as much of the acid as we're using as possible.
Pretty dangerous chemical.
Which is a pretty
for staff
dangerous
to
chemical. So what we're trying to do
use
is
as well.
remove the dangerous chemicals from our plants. They're safe for drinking water. They're just dangerous to the employees when they're using them. So we're trying to remove as many as we can for our employees don't have to work with it. So that's what this is about.
So that when we send water out, there is no acid in it?
No.
Okay.
The acid is just there it's to lower we have to raise the pH and then we have to lower the pH, and that's what the acid in the base does.
Okay.
It lowers and raises pH.
All right, thank you. Is there any further discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Proposed resolution number 19-020, authorize the city manager to sign a contract with Intracoastal Technologies LLC as the lowest pre-qualified bidder as determined by review of bids submitted on January 22, 2019, resulting from the responses to the request for bids for cured-in-place pipelining in the amount of $191,043 for the project in Boynton Beach, Leisureville, and Gateway Boulevard.
Second for discussion. Explain to me, what are we getting for this amount of money?
Hey, Joe Paternity, Utility Director. This amount of money is going to be used by in situ form to line several hundred feet of drainage pipe that it's leaking at this point. So this is to seal the drainage pipes that we have on Gateway and in Palm Beach, but Boynton Beach, Leesville.
You said it's leaking.
Right. This lining seals the pipe so it doesn't leak. So when the pipe leaks, the actual ground and sand go into the pipe and creates a depression on the surface. So what we're trying to do is to seal that pipe so it doesn't erode any of the surface.
Okay, my next question, and this can be done without tearing up the road, et cetera, like you all
That's
did
correct.
before,
That's
and
what
have that long black thing running across forever. This will not take that long, right?
Right. This is in situ.
Thank you.
Actually, this is used in place of having to tear up pipe, right? The
Yes,
technology
yes.
allows you to go in and line it and keep the old pipe there, and create basically new ones from the inside out.
You answered my questions. Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Proposed resolution number 19-021, approve utilizing the City of West Palm Beach supplemental staff agreement with U.S. Water Services Corporation for water and wastewater operation management services through September 30th, 2019 for amount not to exceed $150,000 on an as-needed basis, and authorizing the city manager to sign a piggyback agreement with U.S. Water Services Corporation. The West Palm Beach procurement process satisfies the city's competitive bid requirements. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion from the board?
Nope.
Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Approve the purchase of replacement vehicles as approved in the fiscal year 2018-19 budget in the estimated amount of $873,665 by utilizing the following contracts. Florida Sheriff's Association for 8 vehicles.
Motion to approve. Discussion.
Yes.
I need to know, somebody tell me, for 8 vehicles for $873,000, almost $900,000. I'm just saying, what are we getting, SUVs or what?
Good evening, Andrew Mack. We're getting actually one utility TV truck, one VACCON truck for utilities. Andrew,
I'm going to stop you because I don't know what a utility truck is.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You know.
So we're getting, the bulk of the money is being spent towards the utility trucks. The vac truck is the one that goes out and sucks out the sewage or the drainage to clean out the drainage structures. We're getting a replacement truck for one of the ones we have now, and
That's $108,000. So just give some reference for the public.
Well, the vac truck, actually, the vac truck is
Or is that the-
$328,000.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And what's the 108? Oh, that's
108.
I looked at the wrong one, sorry. Go ahead.
The $320,000 for the TV truck. This is the truck that they use to televise the sewers and drainage when they're looking through to do projects like Joe explained. As far as the lining, they use that to televise it to record the actual condition of the piping. We're also getting 2 police vehicles, which are SUVs, and then a replacement tractor, combination tractor for Public Works Parks, and 3 replacement Gator style, what do you call those, little tractors, ATVs for parks, and 1 for fleet.
Okay, hopefully we're not getting any lemons this time, because last time we got stuck with a couple lemons, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
I'm good.
All right. Any further discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. I believe everything for public hearing is tabled. Would anyone like something removed from the public hearing? Seeing none, moving on to...
No, Commissioner Katz trying to get home for his birthday. I'm quiet.
I know. City Manager's report. Discuss and approve legislative priorities for the 2019 legislative session in Tallahassee.
Yes, sir. So we've provided, as a point in time as of last week, a little bit of a synopsis of an idea of legislation that's being submitted before the legislature. A lot of, many of these bills may or may not survive. New ones will be introduced. This just gives you a rough idea of some of the stuff that's out there. The first part of the report, we kind of just touched on topics that we'd like to get the commission's consensus on to support or oppose. For instance, go up and support home rule, any type of legislation that may inhibit our local home rule, that we want to oppose that legislation. Support legislation that strengthens our CRAs and keeps them intact versus legislation that is slowly trying to tear them apart, quite frankly. So we've kind of gone through. I don't know if you want to go through the list in detail or if you've all had a chance to read it. To just give us, it's nothing you necessarily need to vote on, more of a consensus or an idea of what Commissioner Kelly and I will be taking up to Palm Beach County Days, on top of meeting with our legislators to pitch our 2 projects that we've submitted for appropriations. So you let me know what you'd like to do.
For me, let me just go ahead and say, okay, I asked for a copy, and I took the copy, and I read it, and I'm satisfied, but our lobbyists will be taking this before.
Yes, sir. He will assist us in meeting with our legislators and get us appointments up there, and yes, we provide this to him as well, and he reinforces our position along with many other cities on most of these matters.
I thank you for what I read. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. Thank you. Just one voice. Commissioner Kelly, good luck. Don't want to scare you.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not scared.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to items 11B, I've received requests from Nadia Stewart from Rolling Green Elementary School for $200 of my community support funds for the safety patrol trip and the safety patrols.
So move.
Trip to Washington, D.C.?
I believe so.
Yes.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. So item 11C, I requested to discuss the possibility of putting together a Veterans Task Force to assist with veterans events. Ever since Jeff Livergood left, we kind of have lost our liaison for the different veteran groups and associations. With Tom Kaiser being not knowing, with Tom Kaiser being who he is, we know that he's not going to be around forever. And with that, I'd like to put forward a task force because there is currently a Boynton Beach Veteran Council that we do not have anyone from the city going. This past week we had Wayne Carroll's come, and I'd like to get something more formalized, the process of our 6 different veteran events that we have each year to make sure that we are actually reaching out to the veterans in our community to let them know of all the different veteran service organizations available in Boynton Beach and the surrounding area for their help.
Mayor, my question is, I'm just saying in regards to the veterans, I'm just saying like Mr. Kaiser and the rest of them that served down there, I'm just saying, have you presented this before them to see if they are willing to assist us and come in and give us some guidance?
Yes. So Tom has been asking for a while for assistance, and so this is kind of the whole situation, so he's not relying on us to do it at the last second. I don't believe all of our veterans events are in the calendar, and so I'd like to make sure that we have this all planned up for next calendar year so that everything is planned, and the different veteran organization, whether it be the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the disabled veterans, each have their own specialty regarding each holiday.
And Mr. Andrew Mack will serve on this board, I'm just saying, because of the park, I'm just saying, getting it, ready. Okay. Do we have a list of the events that Mr. Kaiser was doing? Let me ask like that, so that we will follow through with what they was doing. This is because Mr. Kaiser always notified us about, 15 minutes before the event.
So that's kind of where I'm trying to say, let's try to get it 2 weeks before the event.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, well, thank you. So do we need a motion or consensus for the Veterans Task Force? Jim? Okay.
No move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Proposed resolution number 19-022. Authorize the mayor to sign an asset purchase agreement between the City of Boynton Beach and Perry Village, Inc. for the acquisition of the Perry Village water distribution system and approve the associated costs to purchase the systems, install the necessary water meters in connection to the utility water distribution system. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve by discussion. I think the citizens need to know what we're doing.
And I thought we signed a resolution that the city manager can sign this. I know with Hypoluxo.
Not on these, because these are purchase agreements. That was on some other agreements.
Okay.
The city manager.
So this is a different agreement.
This is a different agreement. That was a reuse agreement that
Okay.
you authorized, and we're using those. This
Okay.
is different than that.
Okay. Good to know.
Michael Lode, Deputy Director Utilities. Commissioners, this is actually the second of these acquisitions we brought before you. Perry Village is a 99-member community up on Lawrence Road, and they have been coming to us for some time now, asking if we would take over and provide them with potable water since their plant is aging, and rather than invest new money in a new plant, they're prepared to pay the requisite fees and to become our own users of water. Sorry, they had their lines actually replaced in 2004. We have inspected all of their lines. We're happy that the condition of their lines are good enough for us not to have to invest heavily, so that's why we're bringing this forward to you. They don't actually use our wastewater system, unlike the previous acquisition. They have their own drain fields. I suspect at some point they will be forced to make a move and to have a centralized collection, but for the time being, no. So this is a water-only acquisition.
And we're doing portable water.
Potable water, yeah.
And we won't be getting any revenue, will we?
Yeah.
Well, how much will we? Yep. How much will we be getting?
They will pay the fees for out-of-city residents, customers, and they also pay connection fees and have to pay deposits as well.
All right. Off the top of your head, or anybody head in here, roughly how much are we looking at receiving? That's my question.
It's going to be somewhere between $7,000 to $9,000 per month.
Thank you.
All right. I still need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion from the board? Seeing none. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Proposed resolution number 19-023. Authorize the mayor to sign documents relating to transferring Lot 154 and Lot 155 on Northeast 3rd Street to the Boynton Beach Community Redevelopment Agency.
So move.
Any discussion from the board?
Nope.
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Legal, proposed ordinance number 19-009.
An ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach amending Chapter 18, Article 4, Pension for Firefighters, amending Section 18180 to provide a maximum benefit cap of $95,000, amending Section 18180.1 to provide for a revised early retirement date for newly hired firefighters, amending Section 18185 to provide for a revised normal retirement date for newly hired firefighters, providing for conflict, severability codification, and an effective date.
I have a motion to approve.
So move.
Discussion from the board? Discussion from the audience? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner McCray?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Romulus?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Grant?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Ordinance 19010, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances of the City entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic, creating Section 1413 entitled Motorized Scooters, providing for definition, for regulation, for penalty, providing for codification, conflict, severability, and an effective date.
Motion to approve by discussion.
Yes.
Layman term, what are we doing? Because I was on the TV saying the city of Boynton was going to have this before us, and it's before us, and I want to know, what are we doing?
But they didn't say what we were going to do.
No, but they're looking at what we're going to do.
This is a regulation of motorized scooters that the commission discussed at the last commission meeting, anticipating that the state legislature will take action, which essentially will authorize motorized scooters, but will preempt municipalities from regulating them in manners inconsistent with those pending state statutes. They have not gotten very far in the state legislature, of course, because nothing's underway really other than the filing of bills. And there's been no real discussion regarding the extent to which they'll move forward. So this is a broad drafted ordinance trying to get out in front of that legislation. It contains some provisions regarding parking regulations, operation and penalties for that, penalties for leaving motor scooters lying around if in the end you do permit them to be used, and just providing some other general regulation provisions.
I'm good, thank you.
So this requires motorized scooters to be only allowed in bike lanes, whether they're correct?
That's correct.
And
And
so-
they have to be designated bike lanes.
And so what if it's in a residential neighborhood with no sidewalks, under 25 miles per hour speed limit?
They would not be permitted.
So they would have to walk that? Okay.
Let me ask another question another way. The ones that they got received for Christmas, the kids, will those things be allowed to be flying around?
They will not.
Okay.
The hoverboards.
That's what they're called?
Yep.
Okay. See, I'm a little old, I don't know. And they're being enforced by a police department, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, okay. We're getting out front.
And this also prevents anyone from running a business to hire out motorized scooters or hoverboards.
At the current time, that's true, because we have no provisions for licensing those types of businesses.
Commissioner Katz, I know this is something that you brought up. Is this, have you read the ordinance? And is it to your liking?
I just want to make sure that per the reference to kind of recreational individual use, that we make sure that the language isn't so restrictive that it stops residents from using these devices for personal use. My intent was to prohibit the potential creation of businesses that would then scatter them throughout the city like we see throughout the country. So I'd request prior to second reading, right, does this come back to us?
This would, and I could provide an alternate version that would contain that distinction.
Yeah.
That the type of personal use you're talking about, perhaps the gifts that people have received,
That's what I
minors
would-
or adults.
Yeah, my intent was more towards not allowing the commercial, enterprises to come in the city and then be able to do what we've seen kind of plague other cities, not restrict individual users who might, personally own a product and use it for their personal leisure or transportation in general.
With that additional input, I could provide an alternate version, and it may be that we may need to bring that version back for first reading instead of second reading, but you'll have both available for review.
That'd be my recommendation.
And then perhaps by that time, we'll get a little bit more information about where the pending bills are going on in the Tallahassee, and get some information from the city lobbyist in that regard.
So at the discretion of the commission, I'd motion to, I guess, table this item and request presentation of that revised item at the next.
I would say probably the meeting after the next meeting would be better.
So,
Table for one meeting.
so we're talking about March 19th?
19.
Yes.
Yeah, we got nothing.
Big meeting.
Got a big meeting.
Not early tonight.
Yes, I understand. So I'm in concurrence with Commissioner Cass in the sense that I feel that on roads where there are no sidewalks and the speed limit is under 25 miles per hour, the use of scooters or hoverboards, it should be allowed.
and that the main concern is that people, businesses are not allowed to dump or, I'm sorry, not dump, are not allowed to put out scooters for hire within the city of Boynton Beach. And so, do I have a second on the table for the reading of this proposed ordinance?
Second.
All right, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So the proposed ordinance is tabled until March 19th. And anything further discussed on future agenda item? Seeing none,
Happy
maybe.
birthday, Commissioner Katz.
Yes, happy birthday. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
That's one time, second.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.